shall we get into some movie news? Maybe some movie stuff.
Let us get into some movie stuff.
Let us get into movie stuff. So
wait, we need the. Okay, go ahead.
I was like, what is this? Where will this lead me?
Oh,
It was like a portal to another dimension.
You know where I'm going with this.
Oh, man. AMC is set to reopen cinemas August 20th with 15-cent retro ticket prices. So AMC Theaters is the nation's largest movie chain, and they're planning on reopening on August 20th in the United States with retro ticket prices of 15 cents per movie. AMC owns said that they're going to expect to open the doors for more than 100 cinemas, or about a sixth of its nationwide locations, on August 20th with throwback pricing. They've already reopened theaters in international countries, but with the re-emergence of the beer virus over the summer, they've been basically pushing it back. Like we talked a bunch about how Tenet and Mulan and all these other summer movies that were scheduled have just continuously been like, oh, they're now coming this date. No, they're now coming this date. And it's just been a continuous shuffle of like all these studios, like entire schedules.
Scrambling.
So basically we have new release dates for a bunch of stuff. New Mutants is supposed to come out on August 28th. Tenet is supposed to now release on September 3rd. There are also smaller new releases like Unhinged, which is a thriller starring Russell Crowe. Personal History of David Copperfield from Disney's Searchlight. A couple other movies like that are supposed to be coming out, but during its opening day promotion, AMC will show catalog films including Ghostbusters, Black Panther, Back to the Future, and Grease. They will play afterwards for $5 per ticket, but at the meantime, they're basically during the opening, they're basically dubbing them as movies in 2020 with 1920 prices. So 15 cents a ticket can get you in to see stuff like Back to the Future, Black Panther, Ghostbusters, stuff like that. And they're really going into like their back catalog because I think it also
Which Ghostbusters?
I think just the original Ghostbusters.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know. All I can really speak on is how I feel kind of about this whole thing. But if you guys want to comment too, we've already said it a bunch of times, but you know how to reach us at this point if you've gotten this far into the show.
Yeah.
But you can hit us up on Twitter and stuff like that. And tell us how you feel. Hit us up in the comments. Will you be attending a movie if it's 15 cents to go see some classic that you might really like? I personally, I don't know. I'm kind of down with it.
Give me some Matrix.
Yeah, I think they could have picked, and it says AMC will show catalog films, which means like I think that they're just movies that AMC owns, or maybe owns the rights to distribution in theaters of.
Right.
So that being said, I think that they picked a fairly good catalog of things to show. I don't know about Grease though. I mean, people like musicals and stuff, but like if as a modern audience like clamoring to see Grease, I don't know.
That could be fun to see in the theaters. I
think they could have picked. To me, that's the family friendly thing to go see, possibly. And I feel like they could have picked like a better kids movie or something like that.
I actually think that's an interesting choice.
It definitely is because it's the one that sticks out to me the most. Like,
I don't know. That could be fun. I would like to actually see that in theaters. Like I think about that and like, you know, the only way I have ever seen Grease is on a TV screen.
You're never going to be able to social distance if you're playing Grease. Everybody's just going to get up and start dancing and stuff.
It's going to be brilliant.
Seats. Everybody's going to be like
ripping their masks off and just yelling at the top of their lungs.
Swing dancing like, woo, baby. Come on, baby. Woo. You know, Just like weird stuff. I don't know. Do you really think that like it's gonna pay off for them?
So that's where I'm getting. So this whole to actually talk about the content of what's going on here, 15 cent
Yeah.
movie tickets. So then later in this article it says during its opening day promotion, blah blah blah. So only during opening day. Then those older films will continue to play afterward for $5 a ticket. So this is only one day.
Correct. Yeah. This is like their opening thing, and then they're gonna run these older movies for $5 per ticket, probably until stuff like New Mutants and Tenet and stuff like comes out, and then they'll actually be charging normal ticket prices. I think it's kind of just like, you know, you want to dip your toe in, do it for very cheap. Do it for 15 cents. Do it for $5.
Before I knew that was the strategy,
mm-hmm.
I was very skeptical because I was like, man, you do something like this, then people are not going to excuse you raising ticket prices back up to $18 a ticket.
In some places, yeah.
So now that I'm aware this is kind of what they're going for, yeah, this is a cool idea.
How much of the U.S. population do you think will eschew concerns of the virus in order to take advantage of like 15 cent? Or do you even think that the price really matters? Or do you think it's just like people just want to get back to some sense of normalcy, and going to the movies represents that?
Yeah, I don't think they need to aim their ticket price so low. I don't think that's necessary. I think it's cool. It's nice of them to do.
Yeah.
I don't think it comes out of the goodness of their heart.
No, yeah, it's definitely strategic, like the lowest barrier of entry possible. Like, I mean, if you're charging 15 cents, you might as well just not charge anything. Right?
Yeah, like why aren't you just saying everyone gets in free?
Yeah.
But all that being said, I forget what you had asked me, and I was.
Do you think that there's enough?
Oh, the concern. Okay, so.
Like, I don't think that people that are really that concerned with Corona being a thing that like could kill them. I don't think that 15 cent tickets is like, well, how can I pass up 15 cents to watch Ghostbusters?
How can I say no?
Yeah.
This is a deal I can't refuse. If anyone's concerned about going into the movie theater, this does not move the needle. Yeah. Now, if you're someone who's not concerned about it at all, then
I think if I was on the fence.
Now,
maybe.
I said not concerned about it at all. That's not what I meant. It's not concerned about going to the theater.
Yeah.
Don't misunderstand me. If you're not concerned about that at all, then I've already been saying, come on, where's my movies at?
Yeah.
I want to go to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And 15 cents, all that does for me is like, man, my wallet. This is great.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Especially, like Black Panther's not that old of a movie.
No, it's not.
Like I paid $15 to go see that movie not very long ago. So 15 cents, pretty cool. And I think that they've picked some good movies to want to be showing. I think that, like Ghostbusters and Back to the Future, like enduring, and Grease. All right, I'll give Grease its due. They're enduring classics, right? And then Black Panther's kind of like, I think it's like Black Panther's probably like the best performing across demographics of like any of the Marvel movies. It's okay. So like, I think that you're like looking at it like, okay, well, we have the widest swath of the audience that we're appealing to with this, in terms of like some sort of superhero movie, some modern Marvel movie. But I don't think that the price is necessarily, for me, a deciding factor. I think it's more just like, am I ready or not? How much do I feel like I'm at risk? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think like we had previously discussed we had previously discussed in another episode the restrictions that they were going to put in place in opening their theaters and whatever precautions they were going to take. And it sounds to me like what they're doing is perfectly adequate. And I'd be more than willing to go to the movie theater right now. Just please give me the chance. I think one of the things that you do need to do is, on top of making sure people are spaced out, so like every other row
I'm
and then
always
like
spaced
every
out.
third seat, is let people bring their own food. Just until this is over.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want people like at the same concession stand.
Standing in line,
At a concession stand.
it's taking forever.
Shared equipment.
Yeah, you've got your hands, like your employees' hands. And yes, I know you're going to wear gloves and sanitize it. And just skip it.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk.
Just let people bring their own food for the opening.
Mm-hmm.
Until this whole thing passes us by.
Just like walking into the movie theater with like a roast, like a beef and cheddar from Arby's, and like, somebody's like, "I didn't bring any food," and somebody's fast food smells so good over there.
I actually feel like one of the things that would make sense. Now we're going to kind of get off into our own world here.
I don't care.
Yeah,
Do it.
One of the things I always thought made a lot of sense is, why not just say, if you want to bring in your own food, just pay a small fee.
Yeah. If you want to go to Five Guys and get a burger and fries, because that's what it's called, Five Guys Burger and Fries. They also sell peanuts. It's stupid.
No, it's not stupid. I love
their peanuts. I know.
Yeah.
I want your peanuts in my mouth. But that being said, if you paid, I steal your lines all the time. That is your phrase. That being said, we love you. If we paid $5 basically to like let me bring in like a Subway sandwich or something, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, like don't go ridiculous, but like $2, and your group can bring in their food.
What if they like had tier pricing of like, well, it depends what you bring in. You know, we're charging you charging you $14 for this tub of popcorn if you're bringing in a whole sandwich.
Listen, guy, McDonald's is garbage, so if you're bringing that in here, it's going to be $14.
Yeah, exactly. But if you bring in the caviar, you're perfectly fine.
Oh, wait a minute. What is that you got? That's some Subway? Girl. That's 50 cents.
That's a foot long right there. That's only $5. So we kind of touched on that. Let us know how you feel. Are you eager to get back to the movies, or are you 100% just against it? Or if we don't care, regardless. Like no judgment from us based on what you want to do. But we're just interested, kind of like to gauge people's interest, because I think that AMC's probably pretty interested in gauging their interest too.
Yeah, I'm ready to go back to the theater, so no judgment here.
Yeah, I think when Tenet comes out, we should definitely go see it and just like talk about it.
We should have the whole group. I think it would be cool to have us, the wives, the brother, like everyone, all like we could all sit around the table and talk about it.
Dude, we're doing that. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Last bit of thing.
Dude,
I'm a legit disaster with how much gas I got going on right now. Holy crap. I can't get like a whole sentence out without burping or something.
So I think it's safe to say that this is getting cut into some nuggets.
Oh yeah, we're gonna nug it up. But
that's cringe.
Being on a little bit. Being already on the topic of movies and stuff like that, a lot of people have turned to streaming services. I mean, they have been for a decade now. But streaming services are becoming more and more of a thing now that people can't go to the movies, and so we saw like a bunch of releases with like stuff like Extraction, and we watched we watched Project Power, that new Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie.
I haven't seen it.
It was pretty good. We didn't actually finish it, but we got to like the very end, basically.
What was it? Is Extraction? Is that the one with?
That's the one with Chris Hemsworth. The one that you were saying was good that you saw.
Oh, it's good.
Anyhow, so more and more people are watching movies on these platforms, and more and more of these platforms are coming out, and basically HBO Max was I don't know if it's Peacock is the newest one, but it's more of like it's NBC.
Quibi.
Yeah, they do more TV and
Yeah.
movies. This HBO Max is, I would say the most major recent one that came out, and they had old content like Gone with the Wind, and basically what we're going to be discussing is how they have changed these older movies for modern audiences to put on these platforms, and like how necessary that really is. And it's a little bit political, and I'm not going to say that if anybody feels strongly one way or the other about what we're going to discuss, that I disagree with you, because I think that every side has their point on this, right? But so basically, Blazing Saddles is coming out on HBO Max, and Blazing Saddles has a bunch of racially referential humor in it. And HBO Max kind of set a precedent in going back and taking down Gone with the Wind, which also has a bunch of racially sensitive content in it, of a different era, that is now being presented in the modern era, and people disagreed with them basically presenting presenting Gone with the Wind without basically having a disclaimer saying like, this isn't the reality of the time, and it doesn't address certain issues of the time. And it's basically, the disclaimer wants to address those things and kind of fill you in on the the context of the movie a little bit more, and the time that the movie was released, and also the time that the movie is referencing. And I think that is fine if people want to do that. I also, though, don't know how necessary it is to do something like that. Because like, I'm not a kid anymore. And like, I know that the history that they're discussing in something like Gone with the Wind isn't the actual history. It's fiction. Mm-hmm. It's romanticized. And the disclaimer basically says that. It says as much, like, this isn't actual history. This isn't, don't draw your conclusions about history based on what you're seeing in this movie. And then they go about explaining it a bit.
Right. I think what's ridiculous here is you should not be drawing any idea from history from the media you consume, regardless of the kind of media. So if you're playing video games and watching TV and watching movies, and you think that what's depicted there is some semblance of reality from history, there's a major problem there.
Well, I mean, products do tend to sell themselves as authentic to certain things. Like I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima right now, and it sort of sells itself as like kind of authentic, but it's also authentic to Japanese cinema. It's not authentic to Japanese reality of the time period in which it takes place.
Right.
And so I think that when they say authentic in media that is fiction, it's going for a certain feel. It's trying to feel of the time, but it's not necessarily trying to be an accurate, like the most accurate, historically accurate representation of that time. So for me, something like going back and telling me about the real circumstances surrounding the history and time period in which Gone in the Wind takes place, I don't need that. And I don't really know the extent to which other people might need that explanation, though, is the thing. You know, like, I don't put people's stupidity. I don't want to downplay people's stupidity, because there's plenty of dumb people. You ever watch Live Leak videos or TMZ or something? Anything where you've seen like people doing just outlandishly stupid things, like, you know, you come away with them thinking like the depths of human stupidity are bottomless, you know. But I don't really know anybody that's like really going, well, this is how the world was, and they're pointing to Gone with the Wind. You know, I don't know that exists, and I don't. But do I think that certain people don't recognize like the irony of like the humor in a movie like Blazing Saddles, where they think that you know, when they make the racially insensitive jokes, that they're also pointing out that these people are obviously bigots and idiots that are making these jokes. I don't know how many people are in on that joke or how many people think that it's funny because they are making those racially insensitive jokes. So, you know, I can get behind doing both.
That's where I think. May I get to,
Go ahead, yeah.
That's where I think kind of Dave Chappelle is. He walks that line in his comedy that you're never really quite sure where he is on that line. Because I mean, I think you're sure that he's on the line where he's pointing out the, like you say, the irony of the people making the jokes and that they're bigots and what.
I think it puts the racism out there in the front and center and says like, this is patently ridiculous. The reason that it's funny is because this would never happen in reality. You know, like nobody is this outwardly ridiculously bigoted and stuff like that. But I think also like the reason,
few people,
very few. But I think that also the reason that he stopped doing Chappelle's Show was in part because, that people were not getting the message. You know, that people didn't understand that it was parody.
What I had saw a video recently. Now we're going down a rabbit hole, but that's fine.
Rabbit holes are cozy.
So I saw something a while ago where it was a montage cut together of interviews that he had done, but basically it was like he explained why it was that he disappeared, because for the longest time it was like, oh, that guy, he's so ungrateful and blah blah blah, and he broke his contract and he disappeared, and what a POS this guy is, and blah blah blah. And I never jumped on that bandwagon. I didn't understand why he was gone, but it was like, you know, where'd he go?
Yeah, I didn't understand why he was gone either, but at the same time I was like, everybody deserves a break.
I still I still thought he was hilarious and everything else, and then I was unaware of these interviews existing, and I saw this video, and he talked about why he left, and you know, basically, bottom line was that he was recording some of the bits that they were doing, and he was like, this is some, like basically what you said. It's like, this is some really racist stuff, and if I didn't think I was the butt of the joke, it would be okay. But like, it's starting to look like, you know, I'm the, you know, it's not laughs with me. It's starting to feel like laughs at me.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, I totally get it.
Or
like,
even not specifically at him, at the races that he's depicting. Right.
Right. And, and I am glad to see him back. I will say that out, you know.
Yeah, and I think that we watched his special the other day. I think that he comes out and basically says, like, these things are funny, but they're not a reason to hate. You know, they're not a reason to belittle people. They're not a reason to think of other people as the other. You know, these things are funny to point out in their ridiculousness, in their absurdity, but I don't think that they're necessarily. He basically comes out and says, like, you know, regardless of the content of my jokes, they're supposed to be jokes, and really all I want is for people to love each other. You know, and I think it's really easy to get lost on that in comedy nowadays.
Well, that's so there was an important reason why I brought that out, and so we get to comedy as a whole, and it's like, you don't make Airplane today. You don't make Blazing Saddles today. I was trying to find the movie that I was looking for, but I can't find it. Maybe it was Blazing Saddles. I can't remember. There was a movie. In any case, they like depicted Indians, and they were like, and it was a comedy, and I can't remember what it was. But at one point, they have like the guy's Walkman. Mm-hmm. Like he was trying to teach them how to use it, and they were all talking about how like a stupid white guy he was.
Is it coming to America?
No.
Okay.
No. But in any case, like, it's a shame that we can't just, like, get over ourselves for a minute to appreciate comedy. It's not making fun of a race or a group of people. It's pointing out realities. Mm-hmm. And sometimes exaggerating realities for the sake of humor. Mm-hmm. It's not about laughing at people. Mm-hmm. And maybe some people miss that. Maybe for some people they miss that.
Yeah.
And it goes the wrong way, but that's not the problem of the broader culture.
Yeah,
the
how
broader group.
I think that the main thing that you're asking is like, how responsible are you for people that the joke goes over their head?
Right.
Yeah. The point of the comedy goes over their head.
Yeah. I don't think that we need to have disclaimers at the start of these movies to tell us the environments that the movies were made in.
Yeah, I think that the what's gonna be a more what's gonna be a better use of the time, I guess, is do we go through and add disclaimers to every old movie that could be considered insensitive, or do we just like try to reinforce the fact that these are just movies?
Yeah.
On just a general, level. But like
I can say I've never actually seen Gone with the Wind the whole way through. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure it's a brilliant masterpiece and doesn't deserve to be thrown in the trash. Mm-hmm. Just because of the era that it was made in.
Well, okay, what you were saying earlier, whenever you talked about Blazing Saddles, and you said like, you couldn't make this at this point in time, and the one article that I was reading about this basically said like, oh, that's ridiculous. Everybody knows that it was, of its time and stuff like this, and these are the same people that wanted them to make the disclaimer for Gone with the Wind, and it's like if you don't believe that people can understand that movie is fiction, but you think that people can understand that this comedy has humor of its time, I don't understand how those two things work together.
They're not separate.
Right.
They're not.
They're not. And so if you have faith that people can separate those things, then what's the point of them at all? And you can't just like, I don't think that you can apply it across in differing ways across separate genres and stuff like that, because I really do think that there are people out there that do think like that all the black jokes in Blazing Saddles are just hilarious because they're making fun of black people. Like, I do think that those people exist.
I think they're really, really few and far between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going based on how I am as an adult, where, I can laugh at things that are messed up and still know that they're messed up. And that's not how I personally will carry myself in my everyday life. Mm-hmm. And I hope that is true of others, but I know that it's not always true.
Well, that's like, no, I'll leave it alone for now. I think disclaimers are unnecessary. I think we need to. I really do think people are too damn sensitive.
I think that the disclaimers are unnecessary, but I don't know if they're not necessary for me, and I know that they're not necessary for a lot of other people. But I also can't say that there's harm in them either. Like
I wouldn't say there's harm, but I just think it's dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
it is dumb that we should have to have them.
I'm not gonna give you a trigger warning at the start of our show. Like,
Right. Yeah.
trigger warning. I'm conservative.
Trigger warning, I'm not. Like, but I think that's the thing is like, I think that's why we have kind of a unique thing is that we have differing perspectives on stuff like that. But we also have the ability to kind of recognize each other as humans, as people.
That's amazing.
I know, it's crazy.
Wow.
But
you feel differently than me, but you're still a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
It's crazy. So hopefully we can not get canceled. No, the only people canceling us are us, to be honest. We don't rely on anything except each other. So I don't know. Let us know how you feel. Do you think that this stuff is necessary?
Seriously, I don't care if you disagree with us.
Yeah, if
Just tell us how you feel.
If you do, you have a point. If you don't, you have a point. I just want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So let us know, and maybe is there a movie that you can definitely say should have a disclaimer in it? Like,
Yeah, like if you can think of a movie that you're like, this shouldn't even be a thing, like, by all means,
you
let
brought
us know.
you brought up Airplane earlier.
I don't think that shouldn't be a thing.
No. But there is a scene in that movie that is so horribly racist. It's nuts. Shall I
Yeah,
get into
please do elaborate. Okay, this is your no
This is your trigger warning. Please walk away if you can't handle
disclaimer.
descriptions of bad things.
Okay.
So he the main guy and his girlfriend, they're trying to get back together or whatever. He's on the airplane trying to win her back, and they do flashbacks consistently throughout to kind of build his character and their relationship. And they went on a mission trip after they get out of the Vietnam War. And he goes to Africa and teaches the black people to play basketball. And it's super, super, super racist. But also, like, I don't know what to do about that. Like, I know that it's racist. I'm not going, wow, that's really funny because he made the black people like basketball. Like, it's not something that I take in and use it to form myself.
Well, no. Okay. What would be worse is if he went to Africa and taught them to play badminton. Like, having to spread his white culture.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What do you want? Like, because you'll have someone complaining on all sides, no matter what you do in that scenario. So, like, you just don't have the mission to Africa? I mean, maybe not.
I mean, there's literally no purpose to their mission to Africa except to show him do this.
Yeah, that's a little racist.
Right. But, like, I'm smart enough to know that it is racist, Like, that's the thing. And I generally think that people have the ability to do that. But
I think
but
even
I
at
don't
that
know.
time they were making fun of that as racist at that time.
Or at least they were saying, at least they knew that it was pushing the buttons.
I don't think they were honestly like, oh, this is hysterical that we're gonna like laugh at black people for liking basketball. It was, this is hilarious because there are,
the absurdity of it.
yes,
Yeah, for sure. This is why there's this kind of ambiguity there, and
what I think was really racist is the jive talking.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
They're talking jive,
So-
and then the nun is like, "Hold on, I got this."
That's the
I can
thing.
talk.
That's the thing, though, is like I can see why some people would say that those things need to exist, but at the same time, like if somebody was like, "No, that's ridiculous," I'm also there with them, So I don't know. I kind of brought it up because like I have no idea how I feel about it, really, because on a case by case basis, like something like Airplane versus Blazing Saddles, I might have differing views. Like, obviously in Blazing Saddles, they're pointing at those things as, like, this is obviously racist. I don't know about that scene in Airplane. Like, I literally don't. You know? So that's the last thing I'll bring up on it.
Yeah. I don't know. That's that actually isn't interesting. I feel that they're unnecessary, but I feel like you have to know what you're getting into when you watch a movie from those eras.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a movie that I really love that, like, if they put a disclaimer in front of it, and like, okay, Pulp Fiction. If they put a disclaimer in front of Pulp Fiction,
for what?
Basically being
there's
like
a lot.
Basically being like, you know, I don't know what for whatever. Just I don't even know what they would put in front of it. Maybe the fact that like they make the like sodomy seem like as punishment because you know the rape scene in the basement. You know, and how that's like maybe playing into like the fear of the gays or something like, you know, like if it's the only thing that I can think of really.
Yeah, and that's a stretch because it's like it's not.
It's
It's not about the gay aspect. It's about the rape aspect.
Right, for sure. But if they put that in front of Pulp Fiction, and I love Pulp Fiction, and I went to watch Pulp Fiction, and then there was like a little black screen that came up with some text that was just like, hey, so there's this really triggering thing in here, and maybe it's not cool, and maybe you're just not gonna like it. You know, I don't know if I would care. Like, would it ruin the movie for me to see it before that happened? Like, would I be like really upset, like stupid triggered liberals? You know, like I don't know.
Whatever you just did really messed with my headphones. I lost half my audio.
Oh crap! I might have pulled the thing out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
You're good.
Yeah. Got a little passion there.
But yeah, I don't know if I would. I don't know. I don't think that it would matter to me. I really don't. If I saw like some warning, I don't know if I'd be like, you know, no, I don't even want to watch this movie. You know,
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't kill me to have to read a message or be read a message, depending like that.
Right.
Whatever.
I think that the worst thing that you're going to get out of most people is like an eye roll.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get people in the streets like, restore Pulp Fiction to greatness. You know, like, you know, I don't, that's,
and that's why I think a lot of companies are going this direction because that's exactly it. The majority of people are going to roll their eyes and go, is this really like, do we have to? Mm-hmm. And then the ones who appreciate it are like, cool, thank you for letting me know.
Right.
So what's it hurt?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like, I can see why people would roll their eyes, but at the end of the day, like, it really doesn't hurt me. And I think that the people that like act that it like really hurts them are overreacting too. So thanks for listening to another Nonsensory clip. You can check us out in audio form by finding us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. If you'd rather see the motion of our ocean, subscribe to us on YouTube or come check out our regular Tuesday stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/nonsensory. On social media, we tweet at Nonsensory1, and you can find us on Facebook at Nonsensory Podcast. You can also support us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/nonsensorypod.